Welcome back to the Flat Chats podcast, number 6 I believe it is, isn't it?
Yep.
I'm joined by Aaron and Heggie. No Jacob this week, skiving once again on holiday. It is what it is.
He's decided that he needs 2 holidays a year.
How the other half live.
I know.
Exactly.
I know. But for today, we're going to talk about transfers. Obviously there's quite a lot that have been confirmed so far. We'll talk about them, maybe talk about a few that haven't happened yet. And then I think we should kind of put them into like a ranking system, a tier list sort of thing.
Yeah.
So we'll have, how do you want to call it, what do you want to call the tiers?
Elite business top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good business.
Okay.
And average, will we say, to poor.
Yeah, average poor.
Yeah, 4 categories.
Do you think any of these will be average poor? We've got a list up on the board, by the way.
If we keep looking that way, it's just so we can look at it.
We've got a list or an order of the players we're going to kind of talk about.
Yeah.
Before
we kick off as well, leave a like and subscribe.
Yeah.
We're almost at 100 likes on our last one, where we'll be playing golf if it gets to it. Unbelievable. So we'll set a like target in this one again, 100 likes, smash it, and leave a 5-star review on Spotify or Apple if you're listening there.
Of course, and give us a follow on those platforms. We have broke 50 followers now on Spotify.
Have we?
Yep, 54 followers on my
Love
account.
that.
So thank you to everybody that's been supporting it on the audio platforms as well so far. It's been really good. So Cam, do you want to start us off with
Perfect, yeah. So we'll get into it. We'll talk about the transfers. We're going to actually start in a place that I love, and that's when we talk about an Arsenal player. Happened recently. In fact, happened yesterday, as of the day of recording. Declan Rice. Declan Rice. We're going to talk about. I don't want to start with it. I will let you guys talk about it, and I'll listen to what you guys are going to say first. So, Aaron, what do you think of Declan Rice? What are you thinking?
A lot of people have said that this is an overpayment. 105 million was too much for him.
Mm-hmm.
I disagree. I think 105 million is the perfect amount of price for Declan Rice.
Why do you believe that?
Because we saw it for West Ham. He was the focal point of that team. He was the one keeping them all together. Helps that he was the captain, of course. And I think what Arsenal have really, really needed is a strong sort of centre mid to go in alongside Odegaard. They've obviously got Havertz, who we'll get on to maybe a little bit later on as well. But I think for me, when I seen it initially at the start of the window that this was the one that they were looking to get done, I'm sitting there thinking, yeah, fair enough.
Do you think it's one of those transfers maybe that's like, it could potentially define a generation for Arsenal? Sort of player, isn't it? Yeah, Heggie, what do you think?
I think it could. I think the 105 million...
A lot.
It is a lot, but that's just what players go for these days. I think it's quite a smart signing, actually, the more I think about it. I think with Arsenal buying Rice, they know exactly what they're getting.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they need. I think, as Aaron said, their midfield is going to come under a bit of scrutiny next season because of the amount of money spent on it. But I think it could work. Havertz, we don't know where exactly.
We'll talk about him maybe in a bit. Talk about Rice.
Rice is the perfect anchor for an Odegaard and someone else.
The linchpin sort of position. Yeah, that's what
he is the defining number 6. He is the Patrick Vieira of that team.
Yes,
his best quality as well is the leadership.
Yeah,
I think he just epitomises everything you want in a young footballer.
I think with what you're saying there as well, you can actually say that Arsenal in general have just been smart with their business in terms of they keep bringing in leaders. They've brought in Rice, they've brought in Odegaard, they've brought in who else they brought in recently? Zinchenko. They had obviously Xhaka, but it's players that are leaders. You know,
Ramsdale was a big character.
Yeah.
You could also
Jesus
say
a big character.
Jesus as well. Saliba as well.
Part of that. Gabriel had the captain's armband in the last week in Germany in our first pre-season game. So they're building a squad full of leaders, and you know, captain without the armband is the saying you like to hear a lot. I'm a Declan Rice for sure. That's the case, and I actually think he'll end up being captain. I do. Yeah. Do you guys agree with that?
I think so. I think what Arsenal are building is a team of mentality monsters.
Yeah.
Like genuinely, as you said, Ramsdale, complete mentality monster. Gabriel, Saliba, well known for the leadership at the back. Zinchenko's there, massive amounts of experience. Rice as well. People forget Rice is still so young as well.
Yeah.
For the player that he is at that age, that's incredible.
See the main thing about Rice, I think we're seeing teams linked with like Lavia for 50 million. It's just nowhere near as good as Rice for 100.
No, I know you're right. You're actually spot on with that.
It's a lot of money, and Arsenal won't be able to spend as much going forward. But they're buying up, they're securing in the starting 11 for 10 plus years if he wants to stay.
He's on his contract, I believe, is 5 years plus 1 additional if Arsenal want to. 6 years we've got him. 2028, 29.
So what's that, like 17 million a season for Rice? It seems good money.
Seems pretty good money. So you guys have both said, do you both believe that he'll play as the 6? Is that what you're saying? Or do you think he'll play as an 8?
The best thing about him is he can play 6, 8 and if you really needed him, centre back.
Especially the way Arsenal play. I think Arsenal will be building up almost in a 3 at times. And the way they play is actually quite similar to the Man City we saw play at the end of last season. Arsenal played like that pretty much for the majority of the season. Man City then perfected it, really, didn't they?
Yeah.
I think you could see him play as that 8 though. I think a big part of it depends on who they actually have also coming in next to him. If Partey goes, if Partey does stay, I think he'll play alongside Rice. I think it'll be the two of them. I'll be a hitter with Partey, with Rice playing where Xhaka played. I think that's what would happen. But I think it does depend on what happens with Partey. So I don't know.
Rice is just a better version of Xhaka. He's better at everything.
Yeah, he's better technical footballer. Better.
Partey, however, I think he's better at some things. But Rice is still better overall. It's just a smart signing. I
think I'd probably agree with that. I think Partey is. I think we all believe that Partey is the sort of player that is defensively solid and he's going to win the ball so many times. Don't get me wrong, he's great at intercepting and things like that and positioning himself correctly, but he's not that sort of defensive destroyer like a Declan Rice is. Partey's more of actually a bit of flair, driving us forward, fancy passes, all that kind of thing. That's actually what Partey is. Yeah. And I think Rice, the two of them actually complement each other very well, but it all depends on whether Partey stays or not.
Yeah.
But Rice, good signing for us all.
Absolutely.
Where do we put him?
So what was it? Elite, great, and average.
Bad.
I think it's between elite and great. I wouldn't mind what one you put it in.
I put it in elite. I think the only reason we put it in great is because we think it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I think we maybe think the only way it could be that is if it somehow affects Arsenal going forward and they don't have a plan in place. But I'm expecting Arsenal to have a plan if they're spending this sort of money on a player like this.
Yeah. I'm going to put it in elite because if you're thinking about it, the only comparable signing for that kind of money is Enzo Fernandez. And I guarantee you, it's more about Arsenal's planning. Chelsea are scattergun. Arsenal have gone out and spent some money for Enzo Fernandez. They've got one of the best players in the league. So for me, it's elite business.
Well, that's Declan Rice done. We'll move on to his new teammate then, Jurrien Timber.
Don't worry, we won't be all Arsenal at the start.
There's other teams here, but
yeah. It's just these happened one day after the other, so we may as well talk about them.
Aye.
Timber, I think, how much was it? 40 million?
Yeah.
I think that's decent money for a good player.
Yeah.
I think, again, like Rice, he's very versatile. He can play right back, he can play centre back.
Centre mid.
Yes.
I think he could do the Zinchenko role on the right hand side where he drifts into midfield.
Yeah, it means you could play Tierney more if you wanted to.
Exactly, yeah.
We did some TikToks with our friend from Canada, Eric. He's a Arsenal fan, obviously, and he was saying he really liked it because he starts in the Netherlands national team. I didn't even think of that. It's a good point.
Oh, he does. Yeah, he starts over a lot of the other centre halves.
They are absolutely stacked in defence.
I think it was the back three was Timber, Van Dijk, and Ake. Was it?
Delict, maybe.
I think he played a few games. I'm not quite sure. They were the four that played. They were the four different centre backs that did play.
I think it was Timber that was playing instead of Delict.
Yeah, I think it was as well.
The fact that he's starting as well over the defensive depth that the Netherlands have got is frightening because look, they've got De Vrij, they've got Delict, they've got obviously Van Dijk,
Ake, and then obviously
Dumfries, he's a bit more attacking.
Yeah, he's the right wing back, is he not? Yeah, Timber's a good bit of business.
Yeah, obviously we don't watch him as much as we watch Rice, but I think facts like that, factors, it makes you think it must be good business because obviously these people are working with players like Timber, so they know exactly how good he is and they seriously rate him. So
I was going to say, I have seen a little bit more of Timber. I really like this signing from Arsenal. It was a toss up between when I seen the two signings get announced, obviously Rice and Timber. I was sitting there thinking, actually, which one is the better bit of business? Because as we know, it's been said, it was centre back woes that lost Arsenal the league last season.
Yeah,
with missing out on Saliba. I think this is the perfect bit of business for Arsenal. As you said, he's very versatile. Can play right back, right centre back, centre mid.
Yep.
He said that himself in his interview, which I thought he applied himself very well in. Of course, I've seen his interview for Arsenal. I think it was Arsenal TV and that as well. Very good. Superb player for Ajax, and I actually think this is verging on a bit of a bargain. I'm surprised Ajax haven't tried to push for more for this.
The one issue I would maybe have if I'm an Arsenal fan looking at it is he's a little bit small, but Martinez, who was also small, has come in and he's done well in the league, so that kind of counteracts that.
Yeah,
exactly. And I think his physicality as well. Timbers, for a small guy, he's a physical guy as well.
He's very physical. He snaps into challenges and he tends to win them. He's a bit like Romero in that way. A little less rash and he wins his challenges more
If he's
often.
as aggressive as Martinez is this season, then Arsenal seriously might have some.
I think actually, I'm going to be honest though, I think Heggie, you almost touched on it there, but with Martinez actually probably got better aerial duel percentage one than Timber. That's Timber's weakest point, which is why I think he will be used more likely in the right back position. But it is very good to have all these versatile players. The right back position, we could have Ben White, Timber, or Tomiyasu. In the centre back position, we could have Saliba, Ben White, Tomiyasu, or Holding, who's still there. Gabriel, Kivior, Timber.
Exactly, people forgetting Kivior.
And then of course on the left we've still got Kivior and Zinchenko and Tierney. There is so much depth in that defence, and when you lose a player, you're not going to be in a situation where you have to force in Rob Holding next season. Hopefully.
What a turnaround from 3 months ago.
Exactly.
One player was lost and it was an absolute meltdown.
Now we don't, because the players can, like Ben White could be the player playing centre back instead of Timber, and Timber could be the right back. That could actually be a thing.
Exactly.
But yeah, I think actually if you just look at the team of the defence 3 years ago, Mustafi, Socrates, David Luiz, Rob Holding,
What a black hole that is.
Kolasinac, Bellerin, it was a shambles. Absolute shambles. They've turned it around, and that's what happens when you get a good manager and you've got a board that backs you and spend some money.
What signing out of Rice and Timber do you think is better value for money?
Value for money would be probably... Oh, that's tough. I mean, I'm more excited with the Declan Rice one.
Yeah.
I think if the value for money aspect comes into it, it's a tough one.
That is tough.
You maybe go Timber, but I'm still going to go Rice because of how excited I am for it.
I think you're not getting many CDMs better than Rice for that money. I think you would probably get more better centre backs than.
But he's not.
Timber.
I think he's a right back. I think he's perfect for what Arsenal needs. Yeah. But I also would put this bit as excellent business. I think these 2 deals for Arsenal have been phenomenally good, and they've got them so fast as well. It's July the 16th, so.
I would be the exact same as the first one. Between elite and great for me, I don't really mind what one you put in. Because this one's a bit cheaper, I would be more happy to put it in elite.
Yeah, I'm putting it in elite as well. Again, that sort of defensive utility player is exactly what Arsenal need.
Exactly.
So, a club that did want them, Man United.
Last year, they did.
They've only got one big signing this season.
Do you want to talk about
Mount?
Mason Mount.
70 million.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts, Calum?
It's interesting. I actually think it's a lot of money. But especially for a player with 1 year left in his contract, I've just got a wee feeling that this works though. I think he's actually become very underrated because of how poor he was last season, which is okay, of course that's his fault. I think there's also a big part in the number 7. I don't know why that means a lot. Well, no, I do know why that means a lot.
To Man United, yeah.
I think it means a lot because it tells you what Ten Hag thinks of this player.
Yeah.
It tells you that Ten Hag has got a plan for this guy. Apparently I also heard that Ten Hag wanted him when he played over in Holland a few years ago, before he went to Derby.
You probably saw him when he played for... Who did he play for again?
Vitesse, yeah. I think that's a wee insight into what Ten Hag's got planned for him. I think he's going to be really good for him. I don't think he will play in that midfield role with Bruno Fernandes and Casemiro, like we're seeing a lot of people on Twitter putting clips up of those 3. I don't think that midfield will work. Personally, it might do. I might be wrong. Clip me if I am.
They don't even play that formation either. They play a full 2-3-1 more.
Exactly. So 2 holding mids. So,
but I think Mason Mount is going to be a really good signing for them. But there is also that wee thing where he could flop. But I think that's just the Chelsea narrative that's everywhere on Twitter right now. They're pretty salty about it. Let's be honest. What do you think? We'll go with you, Heggie.
I think that Mount will work because I think he is a coach's dream. I think he needs security as well, I think, as a player, and he's going to get that at Man United. They're not going to chop and change manager. Ten Hag's going to get the best out of him because he's going to work with him every day. I think Mount is, in his position, one of the hardest workers in the league, and I think that will really, really work well in that team, especially if he's playing with Bruno Fernandes, but we don't know if that's going to happen, obviously. I think, for me, it's a good signing for the money. I think it's a bit expensive.
I probably agree with that, but that's probably down to the fact that he's got a year left and he wasn't like their main man last year. But he did obviously win some player of the seasons for Chelsea, I think back-to-back ones. And I think you mentioned there with how hard he works, I think that's going to be really important for going forward with Man United and how they can improve their pressing game. Because that's one thing they need to improve, with also playing out the back being another one, but we'll get to that later. Aaron, Mount?
I'm with you on the money. 1 year to go on his contract, 70 million, it's a lot, but I am also of the opinion that this is good business because, let's say, for instance, Man United do have an injury in midfield, obviously. They could bring Eriksen in and still play Mount on the wing because he did play on the wing, of course. He played on the right hand side. I don't know if that's maybe his best position, but I'm with you. He's a complete coach's dream. He's been a bit caught up unfairly in the whole Chelsea thing as well. Obviously, I don't feel like a lot of it was his fault because he didn't get a lot of time really under other managers other than Frank Lampard.
It was one of his fewest minute seasons at Chelsea.
Last season.
Exactly.
So I don't know how much of the sort of Chelsea downfall from last season you could really put on him because he's not really played as much. I think this is a move that has worked out well for the club because they've got their main target, and I think it'll work out really well for the player as well because he's finally going to get a change of scenery into a team that is on the rise. Man United, they did well last season. They're hopefully going to carry that on this season. So yeah, I'm of the opinion that this is good business.
I think I'd agree with that good as well. But I've got this weird feeling though that it either goes incredible and it's Bruno Fernandes sort of effect when he comes in and he's great for him and he becomes one of their heroes, or he just flops like Jadon Sancho just because they've had so many in the past. But I think that's more just me looking at what Man United have been like in the past. I do think it'll be a good signing, and I do think he will have a real effect on Man United. And I'm a bit worried about it, if I'm honest.
How do you think they're going to line up?
Honestly, don't. I think it depends on who else they bring in.
They need a striker.
Yeah, they definitely need a striker.
Or else Marcus Rashford's going up there for the looks of it.
And that's not his best position at all.
It could work, and they could maybe get some more minutes out of Garnacho as well, who I think Man United fans would like to see more of. Anthony, you could expect him to improve as well.
Yeah.
I don't think that Sancho will have a great year though. I think that he will find himself quite low down in the pecking order.
I think he goes in January.
I think he might go this summer.
We saw pictures of him in pre-season and he looks a bit overweight.
Sancho?
Yeah,
not the best of starts for him.
Oh well.
Maybe wait and see.
Yeah, we'll move on to the next player.
Yeah.
Another
player similar to Mount.
Yeah.
Maddison.
James Maddison. I'm surprised it was as cheap, and I'm surprised that Newcastle didn't go as far into negotiations as Spurs did.
Yeah.
What about you guys? Do you agree with that?
First signing of the Ange Postecoglou revolution.
Here we go. Yeah, Ange. I think you'll know best for this one. How does James Maddison fit into an Ange team? I don't think about Celtic. Think about this Spurs team. How does he fit into that Spurs team? What do you think?
Well, obviously you have to think about where Ange wants to play him. Of course, he can play on the wing. He can also play centre mid. I don't think he's getting rid of Son, so I'm thinking centre mid. You're thinking of who they've got there now, and I think that is an improvement of what they've got there now.
Who would be his comparison to the Celtic version? Like, what position would they play?
Yeah, that's a good question.
He would definitely be one of the attacking centre mids. He would be in either the Matt O'Reilly or the Rio Hatate role. I think he's more like an O'Reilly. Hatate's more of a box to box, whereas O'Reilly's a bit more attacking focused. He sort of sits a bit more further forward. I don't think it makes sense for Tottenham to play Maddison anywhere near sort of the back line. I don't think he gets the best out of him there. So he's in the more Matt O'Reilly role that he has at Celtic under Ange. So, and I think he'll do well there. I think we've seen how good he has been. Obviously, got caught up in the quagmire that was Leicester City this season. So a few players have been like that. Obviously, we've seen the likes of Barnes also leaving as well. So
Tielemans is left.
Tielemans is away. Who obviously again.
Have they got rid of Faze yet?
I don't think so.
That's them in League One then.
Liverpool's top defensive scorer last season. But I like the signing. I think. Similar to Mount, he's a coachable player. He's quite a coachable player. I think
he's quite a character as well.
He's a character, but I think under Ange and under that sort of coaching, he will thrive. I think at Tottenham.
So as of now, do we believe that if we're playing the way Ange played at Celtic and we're using that at Spurs, do we think then that it's going to be Mason Mount, James Maddison playing in that sort of O'Reilly role, and then behind him maybe Bentancur and Basuma? Basuma maybe gets more game time under Ange. He can maybe develop him more?
I think so. I think he can definitely develop under Ange. Ange has got the best out of a lot of underperforming players in recent times. Obviously, I think Bentancur, good anchor in that as well. I'd maybe think if I was Tottenham, no disrespect, if you want to move Bentancur forward, I'd maybe think about getting a 6 in.
You think Basuma could then play the 6?
Yeah, you can also have Basuma playing the 6 in that as well. I think Tottenham are really kind of preparing for January. I think January will be the first sort of big window where you see them. Because a lot of sort of...
Why do you mean that? Why do you think that?
Because I think Ange coming in, he hasn't had a lot of time to really negotiate with Levy about business.
Okay.
I think obviously Levy, as we know, very involved in the transfer dealings at Spurs. He'll have an idea of who he wants and who he wants in at the time. It was well known that he was chasing Maddison. So I think in January, is where you'll start to see Ange maybe start to push back on the transfer front.
Bring in his signings more.
Bring in his
Is that what you're saying?
signings.
So you're thinking that you don't think Maddison is an Ange signing? Is that
I
what you're
think
saying?
Maddison is an Ange player, but not an Ange signing. I
Right,
think
okay.
what that is, I don't think Ange has really said anything about the signing other than that's fine, because he is an Ange player. I think he does well in an Ange system.
Yeah.
And I think in January,
That'll be when you see him.
as a Celtic fan, I'm worried about January. I'll say that. Mainly for Rio Tati.
Rio Tati.
I know he's been like.
You think
He's not signed a contract yet. He's
No.
one of the only ones that hasn't at Celtic.
is Carter Vickers?
Carter Vickers and Hattati are in line for extension.
Right,
the last I heard.
Well, anyway, we'll continue with the Spurs chat. Move past Celtic. We've had a wee bit of Celtic chat.
Yeah, I'm
Heggie?
happy with that.
I think
James Maddison?
I think Maddison is a very good signing. I think you know what you're getting again. Didn't show it last season as much, but he is just a total danger around the box, set pieces. He is exactly what Spurs need. They did not have an attacking midfielder. They couldn't change their system.
They haven't had one since Christian Eriksen. He's
Mental.
the new Eriksen. That's what he is for them. Yeah.
I think 40 million is good money for
I think this one again, this goes in the top category for me.
Yeah.
I think it's just the price and the fact that they've managed to get him over. I thought
Newcastle.
I thought he was going to Newcastle. I swear he was off to Newcastle.
Yeah.
Great deal, fair play Spurs, but you're probably going to finish 10th. So, we'll move on to another attacking midfielder. We don't know enough about this guy. Let's say that first of all.
Let's be fair.
Seen him play for Hungary quite a bit. That's probably the most I've seen him play, actually. I've seen him more at international level than actually for Leipzig, or was it Salzburg as well? No. I'm obviously talking about Szoboszlai.
Szoboszlai.
Heggie, do you want to take us away with this one first?
Very limited knowledge of this player, so there's not going to be deep analysis here, unfortunately. But from what I've seen, he looks a good player. I think Liverpool definitely had to strengthen that midfield.
Will he play midfield though?
I think he will.
Surely he plays.
I think he plays as attacking of the three midfielders.
I'll probably agree with that though.
With McAllister and potential Thiago or a CDM if they get one. Apparently I'm for Caicedo, but
or Lavia.
Yeah. But no, I think we need to see this guy perform a few games under Klopp's system first. Klopp doesn't usually get signings wrong, so you need to trust that. He is very young. How old is he? 21?
21, yeah. He's very, very young. 21, 22.
We'll need to wait and see with this one.
Yeah.
I would personally say it's good.
Yeah, you can't say anything else, can
Can't
you?
say
Really?
anything else.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think it's good as well. I think a big thing for him is actually, he obviously is a very skillful player. He has some hit on him. Doesn't score the most amount of goals. He doesn't score as many goals as we'd hope he would for a player to be signed for 70 odd million, which is crazy money, by the way. We have to get that in first. But the big thing for him and the big thing for Klopp is this guy runs.
Yeah.
He is a runner. I think it was a video I saw recently of them doing some test, like a bleep test maybe, and Trent Alexander-Arnold was puffing and he couldn't believe what he'd just seen. I think he broke some, I don't know if I'm making this up, he broke some sort of club record. He runs, and that is exactly what Jurgen Klopp needs. He needs a machine again, and this could, that surprised me. I didn't expect him to be like that sort of player, but maybe he is.
They've got rid of Milner, who was that, and they've got Szoboszlai in a younger version.
But maybe more technique.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. I really, really like this signing, and I'll tell you why. I don't think he's been brought in to Liverpool to be the goal-scoring midfielder. I think that's McAllister. I think if you're looking for goals from midfield, I agree with you. I don't think Szoboszlai gets as many goals as he maybe should.
Okay.
But I think his time at Leipzig, I've seen him maybe slightly more than the boys. Obviously, we've seen him in the Champions League against City, and obviously for Hungary as well.
Do you want to touch on that McAllister then quickly?
Yeah,
because obviously that's another signing.
That Liverpool midfield. I think outside of Arsenal, this is the best set of transfer business.
You think say it again, please?
Szoboszlai
and McAllister is the best set of business?
Yes, because it fills in a dire and desperate need for Liverpool.
Yeah.
We noticed it. Yeah. Let's say for example, it's Caicedo is the third one.
I think it's Caicedo. I don't know how that's happening. How's that happened?
The transformation of that midfield from Fabinho, Thiago and Milner and Henderson to Caicedo, Szoboszlai and McAllister, that is frightening.
They're not getting Caicedo. They just can't. Chelsea just get. Honestly, I'd rather Chelsea got it done. Because I'm more worried about Liverpool than Chelsea.
No,
Liverpool might be getting a lot of money for Henderson and Fabinho.
I know, but that's the worry.
If they get the money, they will get a Caicedo or Lavia. If they don't, they're probably stuck with those players, and no one else is really going to go in for them.
Yeah. Stevie G doing his old club a favour from Saudi Arabia.
I know, go away. What are you doing? Ruining the game.
Come get your Deadwood.
I was going to say, let's see Nuno Espirito Santo for taking Jota as well. You're ruining the game as well. Like, shambles Saudi Arabia.
But McAllister, Szoboszlai. I can't say the words. I really can't say it. I'm really sorry about that.
But no, I really, really like the Szoboszlai signing. I think, as you said, he's an absolute machine. He's I think he'll really suit the sort of gegenpress style, because a lot of German teams do play a sort of high pressing style. They're quite aggressive. They're in your face. I think that will suit Szoboszlai down to the ground. Trent Alexander-Arnold is currently sitting there wondering how the hell he's done like a 21-7 on the bleak test or whatever it is. But no, I think energy is what the Liverpool midfield needs, and energy is what this guy gives you. So I'm going to put this in good. I think it's
both of them
in good.
I think that
Szoboszlai.
I really can't say it, can I? That's 4 times I've tried it and I've given up halfway through.
Kovacic Velia 2.0.
He's easier. Yeah. I'm not going to try that one. I'm going to say good for that, and I think excellent for McAllister. I think that's the business. McAllister one's the better one.
McAllister 35, we've got wrote down plus 20.
Yeah, we don't actually know what it is. I think that they've been quite discreet with it about how. I think Brighton also released big, like, higher figures than Liverpool did. Liverpool are just trying to please their fans.
I was going to say, Calum's just looking for the Liverpool fan narrative here of we played less for. It's definitely a Twitter thing where it's like, we only paid McAllister for 35 million, but you paid 105 for Declan Rice.
100% it is. Twitter is just a cesspool. It really is. It's a horrible place, but I love it. It's where I get my news. So
up the threads. That's all.
Will we move on to another signing?
Yeah, we'll move on back to Arsenal for this one. Kai Havertz for 60 million plus 20.
Yeah. I'll start with this one because he's actually made his debut for Arsenal. And there was.
Do you want to talk about it or not?
No, I do. Yeah. You guys can't talk. You guys didn't watch it.
I saw the highlights.
I didn't see anything, so this is all.
So with Kai Havertz, I think we were all a bit very confused by it all. The money is a lot, way too much money for anyone paying for anyone to buy Kai Havertz. He then plays and comes on in sort of the Xhaka role. He's finding his feet. It's a pre-season game. He's trying to get fitness going. Fair enough and all that. But I just feel like he could have tried a bit harder. I feel like he was floating about. It was the Kai Havertz that we expected to see, and we did kind of see it. He wasn't bad. Like he started off and he ripped somebody and get taken out. He did a few things that were alright. He had a tame shot, and other than that, he wasn't involved in the game enough.
Do you know what I think it is though? I think it's him getting adjusted back to his natural position, because we remember at Chelsea he was relied on as the main number 9.
Maybe I suppose with that, and also he was then in the second half when he came on. He was playing with the Arsenal side that had all the youngsters on. But still, I wanted more, and for me, I think it has to be the bottom category right now. It could surprise us, but I just think the money's too much.
Yeah, I disagree with what Aaron said there. This is not his natural position.
We don't know what it is,
His natural position was when he played at Leverkusen. We saw how good he was.
Where was what? Right winger.
4-2-3-1, playing in one of the three behind the striker.
He was a right winger.
He was good at cutting in from the right. He was also very good as the player behind the striker when the two wide players walked backwards and he didn't need to go backwards. In Arsenal in the 4-3-3 system, he needs to go backwards. That's not what he's good at.
To be fair, I get that because Martinelli and Saka are going back.
And I think Arsenal are going to have to change up the way they play it, and he's going to become more of a Gundogan sort of player than the way Xhaka played, and it's because Arsenal will have two inverting fullbacks, and I think he will have less to do, and also our wingers do come back. Our wingers act like fullbacks, but they're really also inside forwards. Like, that's how much running these guys do. I think we don't really know what's going to happen with Kai Havertz. If we're all to put our money on it, we all think this is going to be a flop, don't we?
I mean, this isn't average. This isn't very distinctly average bit of business.
It's a weird one. I think with the great business Arsenal have already done, you're almost kind of letting them off for it, but isolating this one transfer is weird.
Going through the players we've had so far.
It's the worst one so far.
Mount, Maddison, Szoboszlai, McAllister, Havertz, all very similar positions. If you had to say to me which of these players would be the cheapest, I'd probably say Havertz. He's actually one of the most expensive.
Yeah, he is one of the most expensive.
All in potentially. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. So I think we're all agreeing that this one's a bit of a...
Yeah, a bit of an average one.
Average
But
one?
of course, we'll hold off on full judgment. As you
Oh,
said,
of course.
it could end up
But
being...
that's all we're doing is judging.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing here. We have to judge, and we're all
I know,
thinking it's a bad one. I hope I'm proven wrong, but that's all we can say right now.
It might come next season, score 15, assist 10, and everyone's going, do you know what, brilliant bit of business.
Fair enough, Arteta.
Yeah.
And he might think, apparently Arteta doesn't even know what position he's playing on yet. He's
Right.
trying to find him out. He thinks that this player can be a real tool for him in so many areas. It's because he's versatile.
Yeah.
That's what he's going for. Another player that can fill any position.
I think in certain games it could work as a 9, especially against faster centre backs where the Jesus behind into the channels isn't as big a threat.
Yeah.
Give it into the feet and get the other players running in behind.
But I do think that he'll play a large part of the games in the midfield.
So
I think we did see that also with Trossard. Trossard's now playing as an 8.
Yeah.
Trossard's the left 8, and I think he's better suited to it.
Yeah.
I actually think he's a better fit for that left centre midfield role than Havertz.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's enough about Havertz. That's enough about Arsenal. Some good business, some bad business. Let's move on to a player that Chelsea have brought in, perhaps to replace Havertz, Nkunku.
Another potential victim of the Chelsea number 9 curse.
Could be, but
We've got him down as 52 million as well.
That was the official thing
I
from...
think that's a fair amount, would you not say?
I'd say that's fair enough. For
Fair
a
amount.
player of his quality.
Yeah, I think that's alright.
I've seen him play once or twice against my club. I think it was twice. First time it was stinking. Second time he scored a goal, but it was pretty poor the rest of the game. I think people are going to rate this higher than it actually is. I think there's a bit of a Bundesliga tax we need to apply.
Yeah, okay.
There's not been that many good signings from the Bundesliga.
I mean, I see what you're saying there. I actually kind of agree with you. I think the number 9 Chelsea tax thing. I don't look at that at all. That's a load of nonsense.
That's just a superstition.
That's exactly. But
Not very superstitious when you see the result.
I do think you're quite right. I think he's one of those players that he does some magical stuff. Like he does some crazy things. Like whoa, what are you doing? But then I think it's just he does it so often, and he has those games where he's just off the boil. And I think we might see a lot of that next year as he's bedding into that Chelsea system.
Yeah, he's going to need some real time to develop. I also have seen him play against my club.
Who was he?
Again, very similar to Heggie's. It was okay in the game at Celtic Park. Like I think he got his goal, and then that was about it. That was the last you really seen of him. Second leg, I think Celtic actually did a decent job of keeping him out of the game.
Yeah.
But I think with this one, again, he's not a out and out striker. He's a centre forward. He's a number 9 rather than a sort of out and out kind of.
Surely Chelsea need a proper number 9.
They actually do. They need a Drogba, like a proper striker.
Well, they thought Lukaku was going to be that, and he's just not turned out to that.
And
now he's off to Juve.
Yeah.
I think the formation that Chelsea play will change this season, and I don't know where Nkunku fits into it, because Poch at Spurs just played a flat 4-3-3. It didn't really have an attacking midfielder. It didn't have defensive midfielders.
Doesn't have a midfield right now at Chelsea, though, does he?
Yeah,
Enzo Fernandez holding down the fort.
But can Enzo and Nkunku be a suitable midfield? Probably
But
not.
could it be Enzo, another holding midfielder like a Caicedo, and an Nkunku, and then hard-working winners?
Yeah, that probably could work.
That's what they want. I think that's what Poch will try and get.
Yeah.
Poch's team like to press. They like to press. I don't know how good he is at pressing. That's something we'll have to figure out as well. And I think it could also be that we see a lot more of the other guy that they brought in, Jackson, and he could be their striker. He could be their Drogba. You never know. But we're rating that. What do you think? I think that's
middle of the road.
middle of the road as well.
One of the worst ones so far.
Yeah, I think that and Havertz probably the worst too.
Although I don't know how much of that is Chelsea tax. Deserved Chelsea tax, it must be
We'll
said.
move on. We'll move on to another player, Chelsea link as well. Kovacic, obviously he's just left Chelsea, joined Man City. I think it's a Gundogan sort of replacement.
Yeah.
We've touched on this a good few times, how he is just Gundogan but with
Younger.
He's a Croatian
captain.
less captain qualities and
Yeah.
not as good at shooting, but probably better at dribbling and passing. So it's like
Ooh, I don't know about that, but maybe.
his dribbling's definitely better. He's one of the best dribblers in the league.
Yeah, okay.
He is. I don't. This one again, we get down 25 million, good money. I think it will work.
Yeah.
Pep doesn't really get bad signings in.
He needs this to work because he's
He
not
needs
getting very many other options in that area now.
And he might be losing Bernardo.
Exactly, and also De Bruyne's not getting any younger. As we've touched on many times in this podcast, he looks as if he is getting ready.
He is.
His clogs every time he goes
It's just because he's such a dynamic player though that he's going to get those sort of injuries at this age.
Yeah.
But I think Kovacic is a player that you bring in to
take on the slack from him.
Yeah, I think for sure. Yeah, I think it's a good signing.
It's a good squad player.
Yeah,
very much so.
I think it becomes great because of how cheap it is, though, compared to the other guys we've talked about in this list. He's the cheapest by far. Like, by far, he's about 25 million or so.
And you wouldn't think that for somebody that's won a Champions League.
But again, I think that's like because Chelsea had to get rid of players, and also they had a bit of a smelly season last year.
Yeah.
And he didn't feature too much. There was injury issues, and there was in and out of the squad.
Yeah, basically. I think Pep does as we've seen with De Bruyne, he does a good job of looking after players. So I think a lot of the injury issues that he had at Chelsea, I think will be very, very much mitigated at Manchester.
I think that's the best point you've made there with Kovacic. Yeah, I think you're right. I think he will manage him correctly.
Yeah, that's the thing. City don't really put their players into the ground too much as well. Like, they don't ask them to do things that are like, they don't ask them to play like 40, 50 plus games a season. Like,
so we're just thinking he's just the Gundogan position.
He's basically Gundogan.
I think as well we should touch on with Man City's midfield, they're losing a lot of players, but they transitioned last season into that different formation
where Stones joined them.
Yeah, so they don't really need as many midfielders.
Yeah.
So I think losing one or two, gaining Kovacic, net probably equal. They've not gained anything. They've probably not lost anything. Though.
Yeah. And then Laporte, obviously, we're looking. He might be going. We might Gavardio. We haven't actually got him written on the board because it's not quite happened yet.
Maddison could be leaving.
Maddison really big. Gavardio could be coming in. Yeah. That could be big for them.
Walker. Pavard, potential swap deal between Bayern Munich.
There's a lot of stuff. We don't really know what's going on with Man City, but we'll kind of move on from Man City because I feel like we'll be able to talk about them in a few weeks' time when we really know what's going on.
We'll do a part 2 with more transfers.
Yeah.
See, to be honest with you boys, I'm going to put a prediction out there. I don't think we'll be talking about very much when it comes to Man City. Right. Really don't, because I don't think they need a lot.
I think if they lose a lot, they might.
They don't right now, but in a few weeks, I think
could,
they might.
Yeah,
I could see that. As well. I don't think we'll be talking about them.
But if they lose Bernardo and Mahrez,
definitely.
I mean, that's 2 wingers they need, and then they may lose Walker they need to bring in Pavard. Laporte could be away. That could be Vardio. So. There could be a plan, but I'm hoping Man City falter. They need to, because just go away.
Sell Haaland, why not?
Just get out of here.
No, just give Haaland on loan to Arsenal for a season.
Enough of that nonsense. We'll move on to another midfielder. A lot more expensive,
but a lot more hyped.
A weird one, because I think there's a lot of talk about Tonali, who I'm talking about here, not being happy about this transfer, being in tears at the fact he had to leave his boyhood club AC Milan.
I don't read too much into that.
No,
like
he'll
when he's got the paycheck in, he won't care.
No, that, and also once he hears that St James's Park roar, I think he'll be at home.
This was the first transfer that, for me in this window, said, "Whoa!"
Yeah, they're here. There's a play.
Tonali is a serious player.
Yeah.
And in a position where Newcastle, sorry. West Ham has my buzzing saying that Tonali when we go to them. But no, a position that Newcastle haven't always been the best in, really. Because who have they really got there now? Bruno G. If anything happens to him, he's kind of screwed.
And big Joe Linton.
Joe Willock. Shelby's gone. Longstaff. Yeah, that's a midfield, isn't it? Bruno and Tonali.
Bruno, Tonali, Joe Linton.
To be fair though, I saw a lot of AC Milan fans on Twitter saying they were glad it wasn't the other midfielder they got,
Benacer.
Apparently he's rated a lot higher than Tonali.
Again, I hear that, but like Tonali has been consistently good the last 2-3 seasons for Milan.
Leadership quality.
That's a big thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
Exactly. I've noticed this like a lot throughout the Premier League transfer window. Teams are just hiring leaders. Teams are just buying leaders for their teams.
Another thing with him is that a lot of people compare him to like a Pirlo. Oh, he's great at shooting from range for free kicks. His passing's unreal.
Yeah. He's not like Gattuso.
He's Gattuso.
Yeah.
He breaks up the play. He does the simple stuff well, and he gets out of the pitch and does a job. He is a good player, and he is going to be an excellent transformational signing for Newcastle because he makes that midfield so solid, so compact with Bruno Guimaraes next to him.
It lets Bruno G go up the field a wee bit more as well. We didn't see that as much last season.
But we did at the end of the season before.
And also it's prime Catenaccio stuff, isn't it? It's like he's an Italian player coming in to compact the midfield to make them harder to play against for bigger teams with more budgets, although in the case of Newcastle, I don't know how
He spent 70 million on it. Yeah,
I don't know
that's
how
not
well, more reputation, more attack-minded players, I should say.
The only player more expensive on the board is
Declan Rice.
Declan Rice.
Well, to be fair, but budget was maybe the wrong word to use. I'm thinking teams with more attacking threats, the likes of a Haaland, the likes of all that as well. Come in there, compact the midfield, make Newcastle horrible to play against.
Yeah.
So
I'm with that. I think for this one, I think it just has to be that elite. It has to be the elite carry. I just think it makes them solid. He's not all the flair. That's not what he is. That's maybe what some people think he has to be for the price tag he is. He's not that. But he will make sure that you can see.
I was going to say, nobody really hires Italian players for flair. They hire them because they're good technically on the ball and that they know how to get the basics right, and they are very difficult to play against.
For sure. Well, we move on to the last player that we've got on the list that has been confirmed as of now, as of recording.
Here we go.
We're going to talk about another defender. We've talked about a lot of attackers and midfielders so far. We're going to talk about Pau Torres, Aston Villa.
Very interesting one.
Didn't expect it.
Another one of
Emery as well.
Another one of the Aston Villa signs, the best sort of outside of the top two centre back in La Liga.
Yeah. He has been one of the best centre backs in Spain for a good few years now. This could be one of the best transfers, I think.
Yeah, it could be.
It's flying under the radar.
Yeah. Especially because Diego Carlos could be back soon. Him and Pau Torres at the back is going to work.
Does Diego Carlos play on the left or the right?
Probably the right.
He must. I mean, he will play on the right because Torres was on the left. But I thought Carlos was a left-sider as well. I might be wrong there.
And even then,
no, that might be Mings. Might be the left.
Even then, if Villa want to be a bit more, if they want to change things up, imagine that back three. Because let's be honest, Mings has improved substantially under Emery.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Imagine that back three of Mings, Pau Torres, and Diego Carlos. That's a problem.
Yeah,
we've seen Unai Emery play free at the back before in the Champions League, especially. I think they're spot on there. Against the bigger teams, they will go free at the back.
Yeah.
They'll play, who's the left back? Alex Moreno.
Again?
He can work in that left wing back position. He's good going forward.
Very
right
lucky with injury.
Yeah, right wing back, Cash obviously.
Won't be actually young, he's away to Everton probably. Is he?
That's confirmed.
Yeah. He should be in the board.
I'm actually young there. What do you think of that, Jacob?
I was going to say, Jacob, if you're watching, please put in the comments what you think of this transfer.
They will be one of the most solid defensive teams.
Yeah,
I think they will be in the top 5 this season, least conceded goals.
Yeah, I probably agree with that. I think
I'll back that.
A big thing for them is getting the goals. And also another thing is with Unai Emery and that sort of weird league form he gets, especially in that second season. I just get PTSD from Arsenal. He's like, there's something happens and he loses the dressing room, and it's not enjoyable football to watch. It becomes defensive and you just play the counter. It's weird, and it may work with the players he's got with a team that expect them to just do fairly well, and I think they can build from that. I think that might be the right club for them.
I think the word you've used there perfectly is expected. There's no expectation here to break into the top 4.
Yeah.
I think
that'll help them though.
Yeah, it will help them. I think they'll be pushing 7th.
Around
that area, and their fans will be really happy with that.
And by the way, I don't think they might do as well in the Prem. I can guarantee you they go very far in Europe.
They'll do a West Ham. They'll do a West Ham and do well in the Conference League.
Yeah, I think there's a good chance they win it.
Yeah, especially
with Emery.
Could you imagine that? Like, first 3 winners of the Conference League, you've got Roma, West Ham, and Aston Villa.
Yeah.
What an elite set of clubs.
Honestly, I might put money on it. I think they win that.
I think you're getting good odds.
I think Pau Torres at 55 million massively helps them. If I think we've got 55 million wrote down, we think that's correct.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah.
That's a great bit of business. It is a lot of money for a centre half, especially. But I'm going to have this. It's one of those ones, good or great to elite. It's one of those two.
It's so hard to judge it right now.
Because you could still completely flop. It could be that the physicality of the Premier League's not up to scratch or he's not up to scratch with the physicality of the Prem. But he's great on the ball and just a good defender.
Yeah, I'm putting this in great. I think as you guys have kind of really touched upon that as well, and obviously as you said, Unai Emery plays free at the back, could potentially put something really very different with Villa next season with that formation.
Yeah,
I think this really suits Villa. This is a signing. If I'm a Villa fan, I am buzzing.
Yeah, I think we all agree with you. I think we do. Villa can have probably a good season next season. We'll quickly touch on players that are still rumours. We've kind of spoke about Caicedo and Lavia. Where do we think they're going to go? Let's say that first. We'll talk about where do you think Caicedo and Lavia will go?
I think Caicedo ends up at Chelsea, and I think Lavia ends up at Liverpool. I think Liverpool will want both of them, but won't fork the money out for Caicedo, so they'll end up with Lavia, and I think Chelsea just don't care, they'll just spend the money.
Yeah. I actually agree with you. I think that Lavia is going to end up at Arsenal, because I think we're going to lose Partey. I think I'd rather keep Partey as well than Lavia, but I think that will happen. I think that Liverpool, I've got a feeling now with what you're saying with Fabinho and Henderson going, that they could end up getting Caicedo, Liverpool. But there's Chelsea there, and who knows what they can do, because they are trigger happy. You never know, they could send the money any day.
Would Lavia be the most expensive relegated player of all time? I think he would.
I'd imagine so, yeah.
I think that's very close to happening.
I think Maddison must be at the now.
Madison's at now, yeah. I think so, 100%. Because, I mean, obviously, Leeds aren't selling anything for 40 plus million and that as well, sadly.
You're just sending all your good players out and going.
Exactly. Aaron to Union Berlin.
Hope he come back out, I can't back up.
Aye.
Christensen to wherever he ends up going.
Mark Rosa's away as well.
Of course, with an option to buy as well. That's I hate that so much. Like, we go in, we buy Mark Roca, who's a really good player, and then we end up loaning him because we get relegated.
Well, Caicedo, Lavia, we don't quite know. We don't want to talk about where they're going to fit in, because we don't know where they're going yet.
I get the chance to say where I thought they were going to go.
Where do you think you're going to go, Sorry?
I'm going to be bold. I think Liverpool get Caicedo, and I'll tell you why. FFP. I think Chelsea will get stung by FFP, and that means they won't get him.
Do you think that's why they've not paid the money? I don't know why. The thing is, they're doing the same thing that Arsenal did, is they're taking so long to get this deal done, and it's getting to the point where teams are starting to lose their players and they can get involved in the race. Arsenal might lose Partey in the next few days. They might. Liverpool are going to lose their players.
Yeah.
Never know what Man United could do.
Yeah.
I don't think that point's really brilliant about FFP.
I don't think that'll work either. I just don't know why they're not dealing with it yet.
Because Chelsea have got the loophole of the big contracts. That's set. They can't go back on that because it's already happened. But they are changing it for the future. Yeah. Which might sting them.
I believe it actually has now changed.
It has changed.
Yeah. So I think Liverpool want to make a statement.
They
I
need
really
that.
do. I think if they can
They
make
already
go and get a midfield of Szoboszlai, McAllister and Caicedo, that sets them up.
They would.
And you know what? I'm with you with Partey. I think Lavia goes to Arsenal.
Yeah.
Arsenal and
Liverpool spending over 200 million on 3 players.
They were known as the cheapskates of the top six.
They've now realised, we've been moaning and saying, we won the, what's it called?
The financial
fair play trophy or whatever. We've been saying that, I'm moaning about the team spending money, and then we've realised, it's more about winning the titles.
Yeah.
Let's actually spend money and do what they were doing.
FSG and Stan Kroenke are sitting there thinking, you've all laughed at me. I get you saying you're not laughing now, are you?
Yeah, start spending money. So we can't say anything to them, but we'd rather our teams were spending money than being able to go, at least we're clean. We've not spent a lot of money. No, we want to spend the money. We don't care. It's not our money.
Yeah, we're not accountants.
Exactly. And a lot of people, I think you're going to see this a lot more now because of the influence of Saudi Arabia potentially coming in and going and saying we can throw 140, 150 million at players very easily. Yeah. So I think, as you said, I think we'll see FSG, Kroenke, the likes of that spend even more money to try and outmatch that because, let's be honest, everybody on that side will want the Premier League to maintain the prestige that it is.
For sure. Let's finish off. One last player we're going to discuss. It's pretty much done. I think it's probably the biggest, it's actually probably potentially bigger than the Mason Mount transfer, and that could be Onana to Man United.
What's his name?
Onana. What's your name?
Do you know the thing I love about Onana? All the rival fans on Twitter making the compilations of his bad moments. It was only 40 seconds long. The David De Gea one was 32 minutes was the one I saw. So, if he's that much better than De Gea, then I'm for a treat.
Onana doesn't have a feature film length compilation of all his bad moments.
Onana also hasn't been around for as long as De Gea, but I think Onana's ones are they're different. They're not like goalkeeper mistakes. They are I'm too confident, I'm too cocky.
He thinks he's like Ederson who can play goalkeeper.
So I think Man United fans they'll have their heart in their mouth for a lot of this season. But I do think that the fact that he can play at the back, it will relieve so much pressure off the defence. First of all, they'll trust their keeper, and they'll be able to build out the back the way Ten Hag wants. And I think that is this could potentially be the best signing this summer because it could change the way the Man United players all play going forward.
100%.
I think that it could surprise us all and be the best signing of the summer.
It's not even that much money either, is it?
Well, it's a goalkeeper.
Yeah, that's it. I know, but there was rumours they were going in for Diogo Costa, But
60 odd.
60 odd million. Onana's not going to cost that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was about
It's 45, 50.
Yeah.
about that as well. I'm with you. And Andre Onana is not going to have to worry about Harry Maguire back passes because he's not only been stripped of the captaincy, it looks as if he is actually out the door.
Did you see his wee message as well?
Yeah, he's absolutely gutted.
Yeah.
He's not gutted, he's raging.
Let's be real here. How can this man be so unaware?
How can this man, and I thought £80 million from Leicester was a scam. Man United still want £50 million for him.
It is that we bought you for a lot of money tax. It's what Arsenal should be doing with Pepe. That's all I'm saying.
And you know what? In both instances, I can respect it. See if they can get somebody to pay £50 million for Harry Maguire, and then you know what? I was going to say,
No one's going to pay that.
like the Glazers. Well done. Biggest
No
scam
one's
out of
paid
football.
50 million for Maguire.
Do you know the absolute conundrum you have with Maguire? When he plays for England, it looks decent. It's the system. But there's not really any club that plays that system.
Yeah.
the way
Exactly.
England do.
I was going to say nobody does it like Gareth Southgate. So the second
Honestly, Villa could have been alright
Yeah.
for it, but they've now got Torres, so.
and they've got Mings, who's arguably a better English centre back than Maguire.
exactly.
The closest system last season to that was Chelsea.
They're not signing him.
They're not saying.
They're not. I was going to say even them.
How are we talking about Onana and moved on to Maguire? Like, how's that happened?
That's me. That's my anti-Maguire agenda.
He's an absolute turd of a footballer. Let's be real here.
He's a fridge. He has the turn circle of one.
Good
Yeah.
guy though.
Oh, lovely guy.
he's a lovely guy. Obviously,
Actually, you know what? He's not. The fact he's so unaware, it annoys me. How unaware he is.
Calum is doubling
When he
down.
started doing that, when he what was he scoring like Georgia or something? It's like, what? Give
Okay.
that a rest,
I was
man.
gonna
Up the
say,
road, you. Up the
me and
road.
Heggie have tried to keep the brandy alive here with Man United. You've just gone, nah, screw him. No, he's
Man United. He won't be a Man United player for long. Come on,
Well,
now.
whoever it goes to
Like
next.
Stoke or something.
Arsenal.
Imagine. Could you? No, actually,
I'd try, honestly.
he would cry.
There's
right.
one signing that's worse than Maguire. It's Richarlison. That's the only one signing that I would.
I was going to say if Arsenal had to sign one, and we're going back to the Would You Rather here. Aaron's not here, I know. If you had to sign one, and you can't go back, Maguire or Richarlison for Arsenal, who would you hate?
I've just said that the one that's worse is Richarlison, but I almost feel like Richarlison's just a better footballer than Maguire, though, isn't he? So I'm almost going back what I'm saying.
Is he though? It's different positions.
You know what? You know what? I'll have the fridge. Give me the fridge.
The fridge is over there, mate.
So
I hope you're still watching, Jacob.
Yeah, we hope you're still watching, and we hope you're still watching at home. So, but yeah, we'll bring it back to Onana, and then we'll wrap it up.
we've done with that. I think Onana, we all think it's just really good business, don't
Yeah,
we? We'll wrap it up there.
fantastic business. Yeah.
Of course, thank you very much for listening. Comment any other ideas you've got. If you're listening on Spotify, of course, leave a 5-star rating.
5-star rating.
5-star rating, of course. Leave us a like on the YouTube. And
Wee suggestion as well, potentially football. Would you have after that question?
Just messages on Instagram what you want us to do.
Yeah, that's the
basically,
best thing to do. Yeah,
Flat Chat official.
And if we like it, we'll do it.
Yeah, go for
There you
it. And
No
as-
keep you up challenges. If you know, you know.
I was going to say, or if you don't know, you're about to find out because you'll go and watch the video and see what's
Oh,
on
it's horrible. Anyway,
But anyway, we'll wrap it up. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and as always,
Take it easy.